When she was in school, Wu was known by the other kids as the loser, and she was pretty miserable until she got to know the girl who was called the Psycho. And that girl was Geu Rami Dong. Part of Wu would so much like to fit in with everybody else, to not be different, to be like the other kids. In contrast, Geu Rami has sized up the other kids and the authoritarian system that raises and governs them, and she wants no part of it. Rami marches to her own drum. By the time Wu is in junior high and high school, she already loves the law, and to love the law is to respect the rules, or respect at least that there are rules. For Geu Rami, rules are to be broken. The law is what they use to punish you. In the first episode of the series, Wu wants to know how better to present herself in a courtroom, since she's begun her new job as a court lawyer. Geu Rami Dong can't wait to help, and she loves the theatricality of it all. She attempts to teach Wu how to cry out, "Objection! 이 samida" in Korean. What Geu Rami is really teaching Wu is how to be socially aggressive, how to come out of her inward focus. Wu is too inward, and Koreans would call Geu Rami too loud. As Wu tells us later, Geu Rami Dong was called Psycho in school. It wasn't just because Geu Rami threatened her classmates with a chair. It was because she wouldn't conform to the rules and to the system. And in Korea, she who won't conform is a psycho. Every country has its school-age bullying. Korea's version of this is particularly vicious. Korean kids have been rated as less happy and more stressful than those in other advanced countries. The biggest reasons for this are pressure to succeed and pressure to fit in. Bullying in Korea could be considered part of the societal structure. It is not limited to the school years. Korea is hierarchical, and in each social configuration, your school, your club, your family, your place of work, people get ranked, and those ranked higher bully those lower, and those ranked lower defer or even grovel over those ranked higher. Korean bullying has been linked to cultural collectivism inside a society lacking diversity. On the first day of school, which of the little ducks fits the norm less than the others, for any identifiable reason? Woe to the one who's decided to be different. In school, Woo Young-woo is bullied from the start. She tells us she's the victim of the sorry game, in which she's tripped up or bumped, and then as she lays on the floor, the bully sweetly says, "Sorry." Historically, the bullying is less about getting you to improve or to fix your imperfection than to call attention to your difference. The odd duck is a useful figure because this helps to get greater obedience out of all the others who fear getting bullied. One day in the classroom, Geu Rami has been watching from her seat in the back of the room, and after some of the girls play a particularly nasty trick on Wu, Geu Rami has had enough. Then she taunts the shocked bully by saying, "Sorry." As near as we can tell, Geu Rami has herself always been ostracized, although she is too scary for bullies to victimize. By sticking up for Wu, Geu Rami has taken yet a last step into social oblivion, because in Korea it is not politically wise to stick up for the victim once the group has identified and pushed her out. What makes Geu Rami freakish compared to others? For one thing, she doesn't act like the other girls. In Korea, troublemakers are the boys. Boys act out. Boys get hit by teachers. Boys show off. But these habits are all part of Geu Rami. If Wu is smarter than Geu Rami and more successful, why does she stay with her, trust her? First, Wu knows that sticking up for the victim guarantees your own exile. But Geu Rami did it when Wu needed it, and that gives Geu Rami a lifetime pass. Secondly, because Geu Rami represents successful resistance to a bullying hierarchical society. That means of resistance is courage and aggression. When Geu Rami is in high school, she gets caught during school hours at a karaoke club, and her teacher elects to drag her out of the place, haul her back to school. He pulls her through the hallway in front of others by the throat with his wooden baton. Teachers can do that in Korea. He scolds her, and she reacts defiantly, which makes him even angrier. This is all the impetus Geu Rami needs. She breaks into the school PA announcement room, turns up the volume as loud as it will go, and she serenades her own classroom in the middle of the teacher's lesson. The same classmates who call her psycho applaud and laugh when Geu Rami's singing comes over the PA system. Why? Because they're thrilled to see the system defied. Because the life of a Korean youth is so scripted and regulated. Sabotage over authority is victory. But this is why the Geu Rami Dong is a fan favorite. Because underneath all that conformity, underneath all the fear of getting laughed at or belittled for not fitting in with the group, there's a yearning to be free of all that pressure. When Woo Young-woo arranges for Geu Rami to become a client of Hanbara law firm, it is not easy for the partners to tolerate her. She's 27 years old, but just as she could not fit in with the high school classmates, she's still a little too punk to fit in with young Korean professionals either. In episode 4, Geu Rami's father is being cheated out of a large inheritance by his older brother, but the family has no proof. Attorney Woo shyly suggests to her best friend that if she could provoke her uncle into physically attacking his brother, her father, Attorney Woo could claim in court that the uncle had used compulsion to get his younger brother to sign the documents approving the inheritance agreement. This kind of maneuver is right into Geu Rami's wheelhouse. She shows up at her uncle's house right when the family is conducting some solemn ceremony for the deceased relative. She pretends to be drinking. She's loud and feisty. Korean girls do not act like this. Had Geu Rami simply come around and used anger, her uncle would have kept his cool. But Geu Rami learned from her experience with the male school teacher. The man of position does not like to be laughed at, to be mocked, to be made the fool.
엉덩이처럼 뻔뻔하게 살자. 그래야 50억을 번다. 예! 미쳤어. 말이 다 옳습니다. 근형 말이 다 옳습니다. 나는 근형의 개입니다. I say 근, you say 형. 근, 형, 근.
The more her uncles show indignation about the spectacle Geu Rami makes, the more she mocks him. The point is to reach her uncle's breaking point, to pierce his pride.
이런 징야!
Which provokes her father to step up and defend his daughter, which in turn will cause the older brother to put a beating upon the father. Now Attorney Woo can go back to court, armed with justification for Geu Rami's father to legally tear up his signed agreement to hand over the money to his older brother. No fight, no cause. It was Attorney Woo's idea, but Geu Rami had to have the art and the willingness to take the blows for her father to win the court case. With Geu Rami, so much is performative. All the other characters in the show, from the high school teacher to the law office, they're prisoners of the rules, prisoners of Korean decorum. In episode 13, the first-year lawyers go on a business trip to Jeju Island. Geu Rami and her boss from the restaurant crash the trip. One of the reasons that the boss of the legal team, Attorney Jung, gravitates to Geu Rami unexpectedly during this work holiday is that her untraditional ways, her irreverence, feels to this normally uptight young man like a breath of fresh air.
Oh, baby, don't talk to me like that. You can change the attitude, good to bad. Made a woman mad, felt it so sad. That's a bit too hard to understand. Oh, baby, don't talk to me like that.
Attorney Jung could not put up with this lifestyle all the time, but it is refreshing for a little while. The cost to Geu Rami is that she never is part of the inside. This is not high school anymore. But Geu Rami in season 1 of the show has only a part-time job at the restaurant. She does not have a place. But make no mistake, Geu Rami and Wu are a team, and they represent a force in the TV series. It's a force for difference. It is a force for rebellion against the Korean middle class status quo. And Wu might be the cleverest of the team at Hanbara. But she does not always win her cases, and she does not always choose the side that the others think is the right side. But like Geu Rami, Wu is stubborn. She sails by her inner compass, trusting herself. Wu is far more subtle and discreet than Geu Rami. But like her best friend, Wu believes in justice and fairness more than in right according to hierarchy.